Oh, did we start? Oh, it's once again Friday, 6:30 in the afternoon, early evening, and this is your host for the next 25 minutes of Hotline 21, the most interactive television talk opportunity that exists in television, because you can call at any time. I am so pleased and excited and delighted because I was around when Chicago started this cable television activity. I was a member of the Chicago City Council. I had an opportunity to vote on it and be a part of it. And of course, things have come a long, long way since then. But I am pleased to still make use of it. So sit back, relax, take in the information that I'm going to provide. You know, today is a beautiful, gorgeous summer day. It reminds me of being a child, and one of the songs that we used to sing at that time was Summertime. And the lyrics kind of went like this: summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your dad is rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these days you're gonna rise up singing. You'll spread your wings and take to the sky. But guess what? That was a good song for people who lived in the southern part of the United States of America. And of course, the sun would be very, very hot, as it is here. And people will have planted their crops, laid them by, and they'd just be waiting for them to produce, to grow. And so, you know, living during that period, they'd just be waiting because there wasn't much work to be done. And that was the whole idea. Cotton was king, and all of the other creations and inventions had not been generated or invented or created. And that was then, and now is now. Fast forward to Chicago, Illinois, the third largest city in the United States of America, a great big city with a great big black population. As a matter of fact, there was a time when there were more than 1 million African Americans in Chicago. Things have changed a bit as a result of the public housing transformation, where it was decided that it was too difficult and too challenging to try and socialize individuals living in too little space, that there were too many people crowded up together in many of the public housing units. So decisions were made to de-densify those areas. That is, get rid of the buildings because there were too many people in them. rebuild or replace those buildings with a smaller number of units, and therefore crime, social maladjustment, social deprivation, all of those things were supposed to go down, because now you don't have people piled up on top of each other. Well, the time has now come where Republicans primarily, or people in public office who identify themselves as Republicans, they are taking the position that government has become too wasteful, and that government is providing resources and services to people who really are taking undue advantage of government and of government subsidies. And while there are some people who do this, I think the Republicans are overreaching in terms of that kind of thinking. There are some individuals who claim benefits who may not be eligible for those benefits based upon the criteria that has been predetermined. So yeah, there are people who cheat a little bit. There are people in every walks of life who try and cheat a little bit. There are doctors who may fudge a little bit on their claims for treating Medicaid patients. So they cheat a little bit, they get caught, and they get sent, their licenses get taken away from them. They can't practice. Or they may actually be convicted and end up going into the criminal justice system and going to prison and other kinds of punishment. But there are people whose benefits get denied who actually qualify, but somebody may have made a mistake, made an error. And so those individuals end up not receiving the benefits that they were entitled to, or to which they were entitled. That's a shame, because many of these individuals are disabled. People with disabilities are people who have become substance users to the extent that they're not able to work. And yet, we don't want to kill them. We don't want to let them die. So we provide some benefits for them so they can continue to live. And there are people who work with them with the idea that they may be able to get restored to good health or enough health that allows them to work and be productive citizens. So we got to watch out for all of that. But summertime is also a time of lots of outdoor activity. Tomorrow, one of the greatest events that take place of that nature in Chicago, the Bud Billiken Parade is going to take place. There will be thousands and thousands of individuals out on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, out in the Bronzeville community, who will be enjoying the annual Bud Billiken Parade. So my hat is off to the Chicago Defender Charities. That is the Sing Stack family that has kept this activity going. And now it's about 100 years old. And it's been wonderful that they are doing it. I intend to be there with bells on, marching down King Drive saying, children, go back to school. Go back to school. Children, get your books out and get ready. Children, understand and know that education is the key. And children, you can even sing School Day, School Day, Dear Old Golden Rule Day. Reading and writing and arithmetic taught to the tune of a hickory stick. You was my gal in calico, and I was your handsome barefoot beau. Humpty, Humpty Dumpty, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Or you may say, sing a song of sixpence, pockets full of rye. 24 blackbirds were baked in a pie, and when the pie was over, they all began to sing. Was that not a dainty dish to set before the king? The king was in the counting house, counting out money. The queen was in the queen house, eating bread and honey. Oh, Madame Rose was outdoors, hanging out her clothes, and along came a blackbird and pecked off her nose. Now that's the way this story goes. So get on out to the Bud Billiken Parade. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. Connect with your neighbors and friends. And then the next Saturday, which is August the 16th, I invite you to come out to the Danny K. Davis and Bright Leadership Institute and all of these other outfits who are co-sponsors and collaborators to the Congressman Danny K. Davis's Back to School Picnic and Parade. It is the 46th year that I have sponsored and put this event together, along with other people who've helped. So I've been doing this parade since 1979, when I first got elected alderman of the 29th Ward, and we've had it every year since. We brag about the fact that it has been rained on, but never rained out. It is sponsored in collaboration with the Chicago West Side NAACP, the West Side Health Authority, Tau Gamma Omega chapter of the AKAs, the National Kidney Foundation, Project Exploration, the Chicago Park District, Chicago Public Schools, the Peacemakers Coalition, Sankofa Safe Child Initiative, Alexander Movers, Miles Square Health Centers, Fathers Who Care, Black Men United, the West Side Ministers Coalition, the Concerned Citizens, Mother's House, Loretta Hospital, the Loretta Foundation, and Habilitative Systems, as well as NEED and other groups, motorcycle clubs, the Born Losers, groups that I have not been able to get on the flyer. But that's August 16th, which, by the way, is also the birthday of a wonderful lady named Maisie Lee Davis, who happened to have been and is my mother, who was born on August the 16th in 1915, which means that if she was still alive, she would be aged. My father was born in 1912. He was a few years older than my mother. But I never generally make a speech without mentioning the fact that those two individuals were wonderful parents. I'm sure they were not perfect. Nobody is ever perfect. My pastor had a slogan, a statement he used to make when he was alive, and I've had other pastors, but Charlie Murray was probably the guy that I developed a tremendous personal relationship with and enjoyed going to church under his leadership a great deal, probably more than any other church that I've been a regular at. But he used to always say that we've all fallen short of the glory, meaning that there are no perfect people. And so if you're looking for perfection, but you can always try to be better. I often say to young people when I'm talking to them, good, better, and best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better, and your better becomes your best. So good, better, and best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better, and your better becomes your best. Also, we will have the Taste of Austin, meaning that vendors will be there, and I want to give a shout out to Cynthia Williams, who started this activity, I'd say about 40 years ago, a little bit more, when she was, maybe 16, 17, 18, 19. Kind of remind me of the song Sam Cooke used to sing. She was only 16, with eyes that would glow. She was too young to fall in love, and I was too young to know. Teenhood. But Cynthia started the Taste when she was about 19, 20 years old, and she has been ill, fallen onto some challenging and difficult times. And so my heart goes out to Cynthia Williams, who started the Austin People's Action Center and for many years operated it as one of the top WIC women, infant, and children's programs in the state of Illinois. But sometimes things happen, and she took ill and has had some challenges. So my heart goes out, and I pray for her. I pray that she will be able to recover her health and overcome those obstacles that have fallen in her way, and that at some point she'll be able to sing I can see clearly now. You know, the rain must fall, or the rain is gone, the clouds are gone. And so if we wish for each other the very best, so if anybody listening or knows Cynthia who might come in contact with her, please let her know that Danny Davis took the time to thank her and pay tribute to her for the outstanding social service work that she was able to do with the Austin People's Action Center. And so, Cynthia, we're pulling for you, honey. We're pulling for you. We're praying for you. We're hoping for you. And we hope that you'll be back on the set, able to do that great work that you were doing. Let me give a little shout out as I get ready to wind down to Alexi Giannoulis, Secretary of State, who's pushing the concept, become an organ donor. You know, this is one of the jobs or tasks that the Secretary of State of the state of Illinois is to push the organ donors program, asking people to sign up when they get their driver's license. But nobody will ever be able to do this any better than, and probably not as good as, Jesse White, who is the former Secretary of State, where Jesse would mesmerize people, trying to get them to sign up to be organ donors. I've been a big fan, and of course I've been involved in this for a long time, because before ever running for office, I worked in healthcare and became acquainted with the gift of hope, and also became acquainted with people who have been able to acquire organs from other people who had passed away. But they kept living because they kept living through individuals who made use of their organs. And since I'm talking about organ donation, let me mention Pam Morris Walton, who is living her 9th year, I believe, with an organ, a heart. So when we say have a heart, we can also say give a heart. And the fact that Pam has a heart, someone else's heart, and she talks about it all the time. She's not a wallflower when it comes to talking. So I'm urging people to become heart donors. Sign up on your driver's license so that if something should happen to you, your heart perhaps could use itself to benefit somebody else. I have a dear friend who's a minister who has had 2 heart transplants and a kidney transplant. He is living, working, being productive, doing all the stuff that he does. So, hey, life is wonderful, no matter what you say. You know, you may have some people ask me, how am I doing? I often say, I won't complain. And I say that because I've had some good days. I've had some bad days. But my good days outweigh the bad days. So I won't complain. I won't complain. Sometimes my head hangs low. I can barely see the road. And I ask the question, why so much pain? But then when I think God has been good to me, better than this old world could ever be, I won't complain. We'll see you next week.